Welcome back, folks. It's another great day here on Valliant Renegade. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Share this sucker out on the social medias. And do leave a comment before you head out today. Because this is where Hollywood comes to get put through the business and financial lens of reality. It's time. Renegade Online. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to be back here. Good to see everybody for another edition of Renegade Nation. Thank you for joining us out there. We've got a bunch of fun stories to go through tonight. A lot of good news updates, especially in the congressional redistricting battle across a multitude of states. But of course, we'll give a little special deference to Louisiana because, well, that's where I'm from. And we have an update on that as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. Joining me, as always, on these shows is that guy that just, he just kind of keeps showing up.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
This guy.
How you doing?
How you doing?
No, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing just good, fine, thank you, myself.
It's been a week. It's been a week. Now, I gotta say, I selected that clip there to bring you in because a certain fan out there, one of our wrenches, Marcus Quintus for $5, gifted one. Only Trump goes to China and wins membership. If you haven't. People in the chat, you get the reference with the clip I just played. It's a line from Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. I'm reminded of an old Vulcan proverb. Only Nixon could go to China. So, there you go.
Well,
now it's Trump.
Right.
There you go. Nice Spock reference there, Marcus. Nice Star Trek VI reference. I appreciate that. Juliet out there for £2 Good morning, Renegade Nation News. Ron Coleman and chat. Good morning, Juliet. Thank you for being here. Doesn't matter what time it is, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whatever it is where she's at. Always here for the show. So, Ron, had a good week. How you been doing this week? Staying busy?
No, I'm very busy. Very busy. It's been a tough week. I'm having issues, but
it happens when we get older.
Well, then there's those issues too.
They make medication for that.
Yeah, medication and other things.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get a few things shared in here. I thought it'd be kind of fun to start off with just something kind of lighthearted and a little silly. And well, there's usually not much sillier than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. A bit of a follow-up to something we discussed last week when, she made some fun comments, and I got to scroll back here. As a follow-up to this, I've got to bring this in. AOC always has her comments about billionaires bad and all this. I missed this one last week. I thought this was hilarious. I guess we've got to play this.
The American Revolution was against the billionaires of their time. And we are declaring independence from such an extreme marriage of wealth and power and the state.
Really?
Somebody apparently failed to inform Miss Cortez that it was American billionaires, that people that would be billionaires today. They weren't really billionaires back then, but
they
inflation,
were definitely teensy percent. Yes.
Yes. The top 1% spent a lot of their personal wealth with the rebels, as it were at the time, to break away not from billionaires, but from an atrocious government of Britain.
This is not a person who should be telling us about American history.
No,
Okay.
this is probably not a person that should be telling us about much anything except what's on the menu at Taco Bell.
The University of Chicago Institute of Politics,
Because she was a taco waitress.
because she is such the heavy lifter on the intellectual.
Man. It's something. It's always something with AOC. But yes, the University of Chicago Institute of Politics. And let me tell you what. I don't know what I think of the intellectual prowess of the University of Chicago these days, considering the speakers that they have up there to inform their students. Yeah. Let's
You know, I mean, look, she's a celebrity,
yeah.
and of course, you know, when you have someone like this available to come to your university and discuss her scholarly publications and her research, and her, the school of thought that she is developing. John has an interesting point to make here.
He was one of the guys. That's right. Not Sean. He's not that old. But the guy he
Whoa,
references here. John Hancock, richest man in America at the time of the war for independence.
Really?
And if
I did not know that.
yes, I believe I didn't know. I knew he was one of the richest. He was Scrooge McDuck, but I didn't know he was the richest. But I knew he was up there. He was one of the guys that funded it. It was one of the reasons that he was the first guy to get to sign the document, the Declaration. It's John Hancock's signature right up there at the top, because he was an integral part of financing what was going on at that time. I mean, there's a lot of militia out there and people just picking up their rifles in their houses and all this, but at the end of the day, you got to spend money.
But at the end of the day, I don't know just how much she would want to adopt the values of the founding fathers.
Yep, exactly. There,
All of a sudden, she has become very, very founding fathery, but I don't think so.
Yeah, and Packing brings up a point here for $2. He says AOC wants to abolish the Electoral College. Right, because the Electoral College, at least in its original intent, was designed to be a safeguard, as you were, to make sure that we wouldn't elect somebody who was detrimental to the country. Because again, we're not a democracy. We're a representative republic governed by the rule of law, not the rule of the mob. That is a foreign concept to many people, Ron. I get it. But any case, there you have it. So I figured it's like, let's start with that. It's always fun making fun of her. We'll just go. You want something else that's a little fun? Well, we'll just do this so we can just have. I wouldn't call this a palate cleanser. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. Certainly not a palate cleanser, because I would not want to clean my palate on this one.
Oh, boy.
But Fresno County, which I think what they mean is, I'm guessing Fresno, California.
When I hear Fresno, I think of California. I won't lie.
I do too. And it's not, that's not exactly the same thing as as some of the more deep blue counties like Marin County that you think of when you think of California. So the Fresno County Board of Supervisors, and this is from Libs of TikTok had posted this earlier, voted to block Pride Month activities at public libraries, Ron. I don't know if you saw this one.
I didn't know.
Yeah, this comes after. So we had you can imagine the characters that showed up at this town hall.
I'd rather.
Yeah, well, you know what? Unfortunately, you won't have to imagine it, because we've got one on video. But taxpayer-funded libraries not going to be a space for child brooming anymore in Fresno, because we've had these things over the years with what is it, drag queen book readings and all this kind of stuff for kids, and
Drag queen books story time, I think. Right?
it's drag queen story time. Well, Ron Coleman, remember when John Candy played the one back on SCTV? Well, this is close.
Oh, Jesus
Hi,
Christ.
I'm Morgana. I am a drag queen. I am an activist.
It's really quiet. Wait, let me juice this because this is a really low volume.
Oh, I wouldn't say anything in this picture's low volume.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty
I
loud.
think no, but I think the volume and the mass.
Hi, I'm Morgana. I am a drag
It's Morgana. And she says, I am a drag queen.
queen. I am a
We couldn't. I'm so glad that she told us that because I might not have figured that out on my own.
She could.
Can y'all see it? I mean, I didn't.
Z could pass.
I'm glad
You
she
could
said
pass.
something because I would have been a little confused.
No, I've seen women that look like that. In fact, no, I mean, just a typical. Anyway, listen. Let's not.
Typical West Coast woman. Yeah, let's just let her or man.
I wish they
or
all could
something.
be California girls. That's what we have in mind when we say that.
I'm
Sing that
Morgana.
lyric.
I am a drag queen. I am an activist. I am a substitute teacher. I am part of County District Number 1.
Did you pick up on
And I
it?
am here
Did you?
to advocate that libraries are safe spaces.
Look at that chick. Look at that lady. The lady seconds from the right. And the guy.
It's like and again, I'm so glad that she
Z.
I am a drag queen, and if you didn't catch it, a substitute teacher.
No, I caught it.
God.
Unsurprising.
I would love not to have. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have caught a lot of things from that. The kind that you usually have to get prescription medications for. But yeah. A substitute teacher, and again, in any sane moral society that cared about their children, you would think that the school district, upon seeing this, just might want to start rethinking their hiring practices and their employee evaluations going forward. But I could be mistaken.
No, you wouldn't think that. Not in California.
Yeah, I know.
Advocate that libraries are safe spaces.
Yes, they're safe spaces for children.
Are part of our queer youth are 30 to 40% in the Central Valley.
30 to 40%.
What?
Are 30 to 40% queer youth in the Central Vallay. Which she's talking about an area in Fresno County, it's Los Angeles area in the valley. I'm just letting the audience know. 30 to 40% of youth she identifies, according to some number she got somewhere, as being queer. That sounds a little bit high, Ron. I
think so too. I think you're right. I think this is a well. Listen, I think we're talking about a kind of a crazy person here. I'm sorry to say it. Not crazy, but sick.
I love Sean's remark. There are virtually zero queers that can't stand the heat, and Sean has made no bones about the fact of his identity out there. So again, speaking as somebody who is, speaking of, except the gay men, but they go to Palm Springs. Thank you, Sean. Oh man, it's is it that far as Fresno? I didn't realize. Okay, I thought Fresno was closer to LA than that, but okay, I'm mistaken. Pardon me. I don't know the California demo in the geography that well. I thought Fresno was part of that. So, or a little bit closer than that. So my mistake. But yeah, so 30 to 40% queer youth being denied access to that.
Fair space because of safe spaces. Her idea of safe. I'm going to say her. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Her idea of safe spaces, though, is a rather perverse one. I, as a parent, would like to think that in the school library, my kids would be safe from weird shit.
Yeah.
In the school library.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Apparently, to certain, and you know what? Let me tell you what. I don't think I'm going out on a limb, looking at what I'm looking at on the screen and saying that to certain, perhaps mentally imbalanced individuals, that when you make comments that what this individual is saying is that a library full of children should be a safe space for individuals like this that behave like that voluntarily to have access to your children.
Or their literary works.
Yeah.
Because, most kids, I think, would naturally be repelled by a person like this, just being, normal.
Yeah.
But it's the books. It's the books. And I'm all in favor of books. I'm a big reader guy. But in the school library, no.
No, there's a time and a place for things. And this type of exposure. And again, this is what's always concerned me with the movement. And I bet, what did you say, Sean? Sean gets special dispensations here because he's always such a big financial supporter of the channel. So we'll pop his comments up.
Yes.
Valliant,
what are you talking about? Sean, we were all over that already. Keep up. You're busy.
Yes.
See, you're busy writing clever comments, but you're not listening to the guys. We're the guys.
That's right.
We're going
what the fuck? Yeah.
No, but in fact, that's what my goal is for watching the rest of this clip, is to see the reactions of the other people. It's all right, Sean. It's always all right.
We got you.
Always all right.
We had to drag you on that comment because we already did that one. No, I appreciate you, man. This is what makes me curious. This individual gets out there, makes this kind of 30 to 40% of kids in the valley, which I'm going to guess, and again, I don't know California geography that well, that it's probably bigger than just Fresno. And the fact that you have a city council or a county council, whatever they were, alderman, I don't know what they refer to in California. Every state and parish, county has different names. We call them councilmen, or, here in Louisiana for each parish. But the fact that they would pass something like this seems to suggest to me that this is a fairly conservative-leaning area of California, which then, maybe the numbers aren't as high as this person wants to make them out to be.
They need this month, Mental Health Awareness Month. It's very.
Oh my God, Mental Health Awareness Month. Honey, can we talk about your mental health awareness? Because you apparently are not aware of your mental health. This month is for you, bitch. It's like, oh my God. Here we go again. The children, we have Mental Health Awareness Month. And again, we're going to drag the kids into this.
Very important. So I'm really glad. They need this month, Mental Health Awareness Month. It's very important. So I'm really glad that we talked about this today, because mental health issues are extremely important for our LGBTQ community. And that's why libraries are safe spaces. There are more.
What?
No, none
of that makes sense. First of all, let's address the fact that this This walking billboard for mental health right here is talking about this being meant. First of all, show of hands in the chat. Please respond. Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Have you ever heard in your life of Mental Health Awareness Month? I haven't.
But you're insane, and that's why.
Clearly.
The sane people, obviously, Mental Health Awareness Month. And that's a month, by the way. You need that. You need a month of that. Just like Black History.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. At least Black History is something that's tangible.
Right.
I
Can
mean, I mean, I've got when we're talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, considering the direction of the American Medical Association and the American Psychiatric Association in the last, let's say, decade at the very least, you kind of wonder what reality is anymore, right?
Yes.
Because
yeah, who are they? Yeah, who are they? Who are they to tell us about mental health?
Yeah. Wait, 5150 her now. You're going to have to help me with that one, Sean. I know you have a very savvy and clever legal reference there, but I am unfamiliar with that one, dude. Packing Proton says for $10, palate cleansers. Marvin thinks that you should release the video of the Universal Forgotten Land Park fountain talking to you, Jay, and Marvin at the park. I have it. I'm trying to think, why did I... There was... I have to go back and watch it. I have to... I'm thinking that maybe there was something in it that gave me pause to release it. I don't remember what it was. Like, if in case somebody had gotten inadvertently doxxed. The short version is this. What Packing is talking about, thank you for the $10, by the way, is that on my last trip down there for MegaCon, the Universal, I call it the insult fountain, but in the Lost Continent, very funny. You walk by and the fountain will sit there and talk to you, and insult you, and will shoot water at you. So the last time that I was there, and I can't go into too much detail for reasons I can't say, but let's just say that the group of us, Geeks and Gamers, myself, I think the Force of Light girls were with us that afternoon, or maybe that was before that trip. No, that might have been before that trip. Drunk 3PO, everybody was there. We walked up to the fountain, and the fountain knew all of us. Knew who we were, knew where we were from, and we all got burned.
So it's an AI fountain with cameras? No, better, even better.
It's I will explain. I can't explain on air. I will let you know after. But that's what Packing Proton's referring to. I got to go back. I still have the video on the phone. It's pretty funny. Maybe we will do that because, and I think the reason Protons brought this up and Marvin had talking about some theme park stuff, but there is a rumor running around. I don't know if it's true or not that the fountain may be closing because that's part of the park that they're redoing right now. So that would be a shame if they do that because to me that's one of my favorite spots. Any case, back to Cuckoo here. Thank you, Packing Protons.
Yes, let's hear what other advice she has for our mental health.
It has to be so good.
More than just to go for books.
Let me back it up a little bit.
Because mental health issues are extremely important for our LGBTQ community. And
I wonder why that is. I genuinely wonder why that is. And again, like we always stipulate on the show, you know, dude, I'm from New Orleans. We got gay guys in New Orleans, have been for many years. There's a gay community in New Orleans, has been for years. There's a gay community in New Orleans suburbs for years. The OG gay guys, like I always refer to them, The guys that you would never know that were really gay unless they told you, because they're just normal people. They don't advertise it. They
Well,
don't.
there have
flaunt it, they
always
don't-
been a variety of
Yeah.
homosexual personalities. There have been guys who have passed great without even hiding anything, and guys who passed great because they did want to hide, and guys who were flamers. And the second they walked in the room, you knew what was going on.
Oh yeah. That is true. But it's so different now, where everything is like, there are so many that just, it's advertised. And it's because of reasons I cannot comprehend. And I think that's what grates people the wrong way. It's like, dude, do what you want to do. It's cool. But you walk into a city council meeting or a county council meeting, whatever this is, like this, so that you can flame on in your own way, and to make a spectacle of yourself. This is the difference now. This is I mean, look, and I've told this story before. One of the smartest, sharpest guys that I've known throughout my life professionally is a guy that runs a marketing and PR firm. He works for a lot of Republican candidates and campaigns here in Louisiana. He's gay, and has been for as long as I've known him. Obviously, I mean, I've known him probably almost 20 years now. I'd probably bet. But it's one of these people. It's like nobody. He doesn't go around, hey, I'm gay. It's like, okay, cool. We don't care. Do what you want to do. He's really good at his job. He does excellent work. And but now we've got this whole thing where everything has to be put on a billboard, like this character.
And that's why
This character is a billboard.
There are more than just to go for books. They're for warmth. They're for our unhoused youth.
Wait.
The mental health issues are extremely important for our LGBTQ community. And that's why libraries are safe spaces. There are more than just to go for books.
No, libraries are expressly built for the books.
No, but she's making up a new rule that everybody knew all along. She just have to remind us. The safe spaces thing.
Oh, yeah.
Warmth. They're for our unhoused youth.
Wait, they're there for what?
Community.
For warmth?
And that's why libraries are safe spaces. There are more than just to go for books. They're for warmth. They're for our unhoused youth. They are for...
How warm are you getting with the youth in libraries, Pumpkin?
Well, all the youth are just the unhoused youth.
The unhoused. I hate that term.
Isn't that awful?
Because it's so uncouth to say homeless. So unhoused.
Unhoused youth. Unhoused youth.
The thought process of the left never ceases to amaze me.
all people. So please
Nor should it.
remember, keep libraries safe. If Fresno City
Keep libraries. I think keep
The
libraries safe.
the safest thing I can think of to keep libraries safe. Finish the sentence.
Is to keep this crazy bitch out. That's yes.
keep libraries safe. If Fresno City College can fly a pride flag, if Fresno State can fly a pride flag, why can we not at the library? Thank you.
3 people clapped. The room is packed, and 3 people clapped. If everybody else can fly a pride flag, why can't we?
If universities can, I mean, universities, those are the most unbiased, morally sound places that you could possibly use as an example.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no better realm for free speech than a college university in America today.
But also, but where else to look for moral guidance?
Exactly. I would go with that as well. Snarky, member for 1 month, I guess on Ron. Yeah, that's on Ron's channel. Snarky says, "Hail Ron and Renegade Nation."
Hey,
and
thanks,
Snarky
Snarky.
says for $5 as well. Hey, Renegade Nation, and the most powerful attorney on the internet, Ron Colemand. Thank you, Snarky.
Thank you. Nice of you to say that. It ain't really true, unless you mean not the most powerful, not the most internetly powerful, but the most powerful in some undefined way that we can narrow sufficiently to make apply to me. Yeah, sure.
And for a $100 super chat, I will take this off the screen. I'm just anybody out there who wants to throw down. D-Day Cobra has taught me how to grift, so I'm not nearly as good as it is he is. But
so impressive.
Yeah, I know. Sean says for $5 in Cali, we call counties counties, and they are governed by a board of supervisors. Okay, board of supervisors with Central Valley 500 miles long and 100 miles wide and conservative. That's what I thought. That's that really kind of deep red area of Cali that obviously
Reagan country.
Yeah, Gavin Screwsome is trying to eradicate right now with the redistricting effort in California. So there we go. Boards of supervisors. Yeah, we just call them like, and here in Louisiana, it's obvious we're the only state that's got parishes, like a church parish. But it's parish councilman and we have parish councilmen, parish presidents, and then of course we have our state offices with just the House, the Senate, the governor, just like everybody else. Thank you, Sean. Mark is. I don't know if I'm going to count that. Son of a bitch. He threw it down. Marcus Quintus for $2. There's Gay, and then there's Valliant, Renegade, and Jeremy. And we're not talking about quartering Jeremy. Talking about Cobra.
No one talks about Jeremy anymore.
No.
The quartering. That is just nowhere to go with that.
No, it is verboten. We're done with that. I got to skip ahead because some bitch, Doc Hollywood, threw down 10 gifted lawyer Ron Coleman memberships.
That's all very nice, but let me tell you, I appreciate it. I need subscribers because YouTube. Listen, people don't go out of their way. We know this. People don't go out of their way to unsubscribe from your YouTube, from a YouTube subscription.
No.
Who does
Nobody
that?
unsubscribes. Like somebody physically unsubscribing from a YouTube channel is one of the most rare things on earth. It is probably more rare than plutonium.
I've lost like 500 subscribers, and I have not been good with YouTube in the last couple of months. But that's not so. I should lose subscribers from that. It's Meshuggah. Right. So if you're listening on any of the platforms, you should go and subscribe. Because listen, Valliant, he's doing fine. He's growing like Topsy there. But
I wish I was. No, Ron, on my main channel, I get about 1,000 subscribers a month, and I lose 1,000 a month. I've literally been sitting in the exact same place.
Yeah, YouTube. Right. YouTube is 1,000 people decided they don't like your program anymore. Give me a freaking break.
Yep. It's I watch, and I don't know what it's been the last 4 or 5 months. It's probably a little bit. Here's the thing: like every time we build new subscribers, YouTube deletes more. So it's just a structure. They have a new AI algorithm, and I'm saying this not to bore the audience. I need y'all to understand what's going on. YouTube is not being kind to a lot of us right now. There has been a very aggressive change in the algorithm in the last, I'd say, 8 months to a year that's impacting a lot of us, especially those of us that are not full-time and don't post every week or 2, 3, 4 videos a week or 2, 3, 4 videos a day. It's been, and even for some of those that have, it's been very aggressive. I can tell you, I've had a lot of conversations with YouTubers, many people you guys know, many people bigger than me, and a lot of people, if not almost everybody, has noticed it. Google obviously.
I hear this from the big guys.
Things. Yeah. Yeah, they're changing things out there. So thank you, Doc Hollywood, for the 10 gifted memberships over there on Ron Coleman's channel.
So much. Thank you, sir.
Now, it's like now I'm thirsty over here on my channel. So, no. It's good to see you, Doc. We always love you. Captain, JPS says for 5, this pink-haired clown seems like the right person who should talk about the awareness of mental health. I agree. I'm so glad. I would have this person on national television representing the Democrat Party talking about mental health every day of the week between now and November. Dressed in that outfit, I would pay money. I would financially support that endeavor by the Democrat Party if they so
it's statements
choose.
like that lose you 250 subscriptions every week.
That's it. But at least the smart people in this audience know exactly why I would do it. I would absolutely be down with that. Yeah, so there we have it. Anyway, spent more time on that than I thought, but I think it was worth it because it was funny as hell. All right, a couple of things I kind of want to turn on here. Well, there's a few things, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do first. But let's start with this because this is kind of an interesting one. I want to talk about the redistricting stuff here, but this was one that came up today. A bit of a surprise because I didn't even know that this was before the Supreme Court. And I think this is really, I don't know, Ron. I think this is kind of flying under the radar at how big of an impact this could potentially have.
I have seen people who are familiar with the industry saying that it could result in a gigantic culling of freight shippers.
Yeah, this is gravitational black hole kind of Supreme Court decision that is, just shifting galaxies. So
and they didn't have much trouble coming to this conclusion.
9-0. This is a 9. Even Ketanji Brown Jackson managed to put enough brain cell together to get this one right. All right, so let me explain what's going on here. You guys, and y'all are seeing the clips right now. Y'all all remember this, and I don't think we have. Yeah, I don't want audio to pull up, but y'all remember this, right? You've got these. We've talked about the stories before. This was all over YouTube a couple of months ago. You get these Indian truck drivers. And, look, I don't have an issue with people immigrating from India, Japan, the Philippines, whatever. I've got clients that are from India. But these are guys that came over here and that were, they went to med school. Or they're lawyers or something like that. In fact, most of the Indian guys I know that I as far as friends and that I work with professionally, a lot of them are cardiologists, and they're some of the best cardiologists. Like, they have reputations as being some of the best doctors around. But then you get the guys that come on these H-1B visas, which I think probably most people out there in the audience are familiar with. The H-1B visa is, Ron, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of like, it's a low rent, come in the country and work and do whatever you want visa. And I mean, this is one, aren't they under so much scrutiny right now?
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be.
Right.
We can't find anyone like this in the United States of America. In the United States of America, there's no one else who can do what this guy can do.
Right. Exactly. And this is the problem. So commercial drivers, or CDLs, commercial driver's licenses, which are issued by all 50 states individually. They have their own regulations. Lo and behold, go figure, the state of California has apparently been the most egregious abuser of this because just like it is in the case of things like marriage and whatnot, you get a driver's license in one state, you have general reciprocity in all other 49 states. You can go out there and drive around as long as you have a valid driver's license somewhere. So too is the case with CDLs. So you have all of these foreigners that come into the country that are getting these commercial driver's licenses and in many cases can barely read, write, or speak English. Which, if you're driving 100,000 pounds of freight in a 120,000-pound death machine going 70 miles an hour down an interstate, and every law, every traffic sign, and every point of direction is written in a language that you don't largely comprehend, normal thinking people might say, that could be a problem. Not in California. So we all saw this. We saw like 2 or 3 instances of this in the last couple of months. So here's the deal. The Supreme Court handed down a ruling today, 9-0, that basically turned this on its head. Now, what you got to realize is that the whole thing about this, Ron, it's about the brokers, right? You could sue, like in the case that we're watching here, a horrific accident. I believe 3 people were killed in this particular footage that we're seeing on screen. Driver wasn't paying attention, rammed through things. And then you got the one on the top, and then the one on the bottom was the one. These are 2 different cases that did the U-turn through the median of the interstate, and just a minivan that was just driving along just plowed in as they decided to do a completely horrifically dangerous U-turn. The trucking companies, the drivers could be sued, but Ron, what's the chance if this was an independent operator, this guy, that he probably doesn't have a lot of insurance?
I would not think so, and I wouldn't think that he has his own rig, having just stepped off the boat. And I mean, first of all, was he even legal?
Who knows? California hands out driver's licenses, Medicaid, and voter ID cards to anybody.
Let's make it clear: this decision is not connected to this incident.
Yes,
it is. But what Valliant is pointing out to us is, in case you read the law as prohibiting the company that hired this clown from being exempt from negligence claims.
Sean knows.
9-0.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So people kind of understand how this works with the industry and the reason for this case. So we've kind of set up, this is the horrors that we saw in the last few months. Everybody talking about these CDLs going to people that aren't American citizens, number one, can't speak the language, read, write, whatever. And Sean is saying he had an expired visa. Oh, go figure. So here's the deal. Case like this, and you have, of course, you're going to have criminal charges, and that's not what we're talking about, whether it's reckless driving, vehicular homicide, negligence, whatever, right? But then you also have the civil side, right? The tort side, Ron, where you'll have the families of the victims that will sue the driver and the trucking company, saying, okay, we want $10 million. Up until today, the brokers were immune from this. And what I mean by that is, if you're a company that makes something and you've got to ship it from point A to point B, and let's say it's a large item. This isn't something that you're shipping with FedEx or UPS. You're making a custom crane to put up a skyscraper, or you're Caterpillar, and you've got to ship a 30-ton excavator from 5 states away. You can call around and you can find out which one of 5,000 different trucking companies would have the window to deliver it, the capacity on a truck and a driver to do it, to go from here to here. Or you go through a broker, and a broker will coalesce all of this data in one system. So the broker will have 5,000 truckers and their trucks in their system who know their schedules, who know their hauling capacity, what kind of trailers they have, where they are, and their availability to move that product from A to B. The brokers up until now have been, if I don't misunderstand this, Ron, have been basically legally shielded from lawsuits. So if this Jasonpreet Singh was hired by ABC trucking brokers or put in contact by ABC trucking brokers, you could go sue Jasonpreet Singh and whatever company employed him, but the broker who set somebody up to deliver the services couldn't be touched.
And this was apparently such a well-established rule of law that the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, which used to be a pretty well-respected circuit, affirmed the district court dismissal of the claim that this regulation did not fall under the safety exception to the Federal Aviation Administration Authorization Act, which governs the trucking agents. Now, the problem is this guy turned his truck into aviation for himself and a lot of other people on Route 10. Unbelievable. Awful.
Yeah. So what the Supreme Court decided today was that no, there actually is no federal protection for the brokers from assuming liability in a civil suit. Meaning that, and here's the thing for people to understand, a lot of individual truckers and trucking companies out there, they're not like massive multi-billion-dollar entities. Most of the guys on the road out there hauling are part of small business operations, if not owner-operators themselves. It's a one-man operation. One guy owns a truck and runs it himself and sells his services. And in other cases, maybe you have a company that's got 10, 20, or 30 trucks. There aren't that many out there that have hundreds, if not thousands of trucks. The whole point of the brokers, though, most of the trucking business in this country, or a significant portion of it, goes through these brokers, from my understanding. And I could be wrong. And I see Tennessee Tornado out there. Let me pull this up for $10. I work in freight forwarding, and I deal with garbage truckers and brokers all the time. There we go. Thank you, Tennessee. I'll deal with a short-term shortage of drivers if it means getting rid of morons who have destroyed the industry. There we have it. Thank you, Tennessee Tornado. It's exactly what I'm talking about, is that these brokers out there that need, that are trying to line up, hey, here's Caterpillar who needs to move this, 30-ton excavator from A to B. Caterpillar can call around 20 trucking companies, or Caterpillar can come to our brokerage firm, and we've already got all the information. They don't have to call 1,000 people. They just have to call us, right? That's what the brokers are there for. If the brokers are now liable, that means that the brokers are going to start cutting off. They're going to have to, because their insurance rates are about to go up the ass and skyrocket. Because if they can now be held liable for a company that they connect or sell a job to that's employing a bunch of guys that shouldn't be here, that have expired visas, are illegals, and doesn't matter because California hands out these CDLs to anybody, that's going to be a big problem. And that is going to potentially eliminate, that's going to take care of a lot of these people that shouldn't be driving trucks problem, I would think, Ron.
I would think.
Like natural selection, right?
Well, it's right, and it was being unnaturally inhibited by this ridiculous reading of the law. I mean, I can't say that it was something that was even remotely on my radar before, but this makes a lot of sense.
It does. Because you got a lot of these companies that were employing guys like Jasinpreet Singh and this other guy and Harjinder Singh. Why do they have the same names? That's incredible. But you have a lot of these guys out there that were employing these folks because, hey, we can pay them below market rates under the table. We can basically undercut the competition with drivers that were not paying as much as an American citizen might be making. And the brokers are going to still send us business. And the brokers had no incentive to check. Yeah, the brokers had no incentive to verify whether or not, who their drivers were. Not really, because the brokers, up until today, had diplomatic immunity. It was
crazy.
Lethal Weapon 2, I know. And because they didn't care. Now that the brokers are going to be under the gun, it's over. It's just simple. It's like, hey, you can keep employing you can keep employing Jasinpreet and Harjinder Singh all you want, but we will not be connecting any of our clients, our buyers, to you anymore. Done. Over. That is going to force a massive industry change. And as Tennessee pointed out here, people like him, hey, yeah, we're willing to deal with it because we know there are some absolute shit companies and shit drivers out there like this that we'd prefer not to have to deal with. And we don't mind a little bit of an industry reset because, look, there's plenty of people out there that can do this job here in America. Plenty of people willing to do it and doing it the right way, passing the exams, being legal citizens being the first thing, and being able to read, write, and speak English. But I'm racist.
I mean, listen, if someone's going to play on his phone and how many people got killed? 3?
3 and the guy on the bottom, and then I don't remember the guy on the top. That was probably at least 2 or 3 more right there. Yeah.
He was dingling around on his phone. He was right on the here. You talk about natural selection. There was a freaking video camera looking at him. You see how the cognitive dissonance. Nothing makes people. You might think that someone would say, "Listen, I want to be a bad guy, but this is gonna record everything I do."
Yeah, that's it. Dash cams are a problem for the people that wanted them. That's for sure.
On
Doc
body
Hollywood,
cam.
a body cam. Well, body cams and dash cams, yeah. Doc Hollywood for $20. Hey, Valliant, are you able to open up memberships to this channel? I need to. You have to apply. It's not just a button you hit. You have to apply to YouTube to get memberships. Tell them what you're going to do with them. And you have to get all of your tiers approved. Honestly, with Renegade Nation, I'd probably keep it simple. Just do like 1 membership level. Just because, I don't want to have a lot of extra stuff to do with this. I know people want to do it, and it's great, and I'm happy to do it. I need to look into it. I really do, because I know people keep asking. It's almost kind of funny that people keep sending in the joke membership super chats with the funny names. So I'm kind of like, I don't want that to go away because that really makes me laugh. But I know people want to do it. Thank you, though, Doc. I appreciate you, man. Packing Proton says, Ron knows 287 South caught a trucker going 70 in a construction zone where the left 2 lanes were closed off on video around exit 4752. Okay.
That is a trucker going 70 in a construction zone with the left 2 lanes were closed off, and you caught him on video.
Where's 287 South? Is that Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I got you. Okay. That makes sense now. Gotcha.
Well, truckers, the only thing worse than truckers are bus drivers. Bus drivers, they seem to think they can get away with freaking anything. I'm a bus. What are you going to do? Especially in the city, in city buses. I'm the bus.
Oh, I can tell you. Oh, or I probably can't tell you anymore. I've lost count. How many times that I have been perturbed at certain school bus drivers where I live, because those guys are assholes. I mean, they just doesn't matter. I got a school bus. I can drive where I can block a whole street, 2 lanes across to make a left turn. I didn't want to sit where I was. And they don't care. I've been cut off by school buses before that just, I have to turn here. Screw you. Better slam on your brakes. I'm not saying all of them are like this, but my God, I can. School bus drivers are dicks. A lot of them are dicks. So I get it. Thank God we don't have public transportation around where I live for a lot of reasons. But yeah, that would be, I can imagine. 2 Penny Puppet for $10. There's a couple of websites that everyone puts their available loads going from A to B. Yep, for the trucking brokers. The drivers bid on these loads. Nobody ever talks to each other. It's all automated. It's eBay. That's it.
I can't say I have a big problem with that. What would be the problem with that? The problem is that if the people are unqualified, if they shouldn't be driving,
that's it.
That's the problem. But if costs are reduced because it's highly efficient, which this seems to me to be.
Yeah. And that's fine. I agree with Ron. I got no issue with it. The problem is the websites that facilitate this. It's like eBay hey, look, we're going to change our policy. We're not going to allow people to, we're not going to broker firearm sales on eBay. Which, okay, I understand stuff like that. This is the same kind of thing, right? But it's even actually worse because these brokers, you're basically brokering a job for hire in a profession that in all 50 states has to have special licensure to execute. And if you're a broker and you're not verifying that these licenses are, and this is where it gets tricky. And I don't know how they're going to figure this out, but if you're a broker and it's like, well, Hajit Singh or whatever got he's got a CDL, it's valid, it's from California. And this is the thing, maybe these brokers, the answer to this is going to be, if you got your CDL in California, you might not get on this system, because you just look at it, you realize, we all know, like, I don't expect that there's a whole lot of really questionable CDLs coming out of states like Louisiana and Tennessee and Texas and Florida. I'm not saying there's none. There's things that can slip through the cracks. But let's say that places like California probably have an inordinately high percentage of CDLs that probably shouldn't have been handed out. I'll go ahead and take that risk, saying that. So, yeah. Tennessee Tornado says, for 10, the amount of stress I deal with on a daily basis having to answer to customers who are angry about crap drivers has nearly ended my own career a number of times, including today. Oh, shit. And that's just it. The brokers, and look, the brokers can't be perfect. All drivers can't be perfect. Shippers and receivers can't all be perfect. But the idea that the brokers were immune from any legal responsibility from vetting, because again, a broker, it's a private business, right? They don't have to just let everybody in. They can decide, hey, we're going to set our own criteria. You might have a CDL, but we now have to raise our standards beyond you having a CDL. We need to make sure, A, you're a citizen, B, you're proficient in English and all. They can change all this tomorrow, but I'm going to tell you who's going to dictate how the response to the Supreme Court ruling is going to be handled. The industry that's going to dictate it isn't going to be the trucking industry. It's going to be their insurance companies. The insurance companies are going to dictate how that gets handled for the brokers. Because if that liability is now exposed to lawsuits for stuff that drivers do, that they just connected a buyer and a seller to, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. Because I promise you, the insurance companies for CDLs are probably already thoroughly reviewing things now. Because, you know what? If I'm fill in the blank, Progressive, Allstate, or some of these specialty carriers that may be covering CDLs, let me tell you what, after the last few incidents and what everybody's finding out about CDLs being handed out like crack in the hood, they're probably not going to just accept, you've got a CDL with no record. Great. I have a feeling insurance companies right now are the actuaries are totally rewriting their books on how they're going to handle this. We're going to see a lot of changes in this industry over the next year or two. I would not at all be surprised. So, any case, thank you guys for sending in the super chats. All right, we got a couple of more stories here we want to dive into. Moving along nicely. I don't want to do, I had this up. I am not going to do the story tonight, but I'm just going to piss the chat off. Yes, this is Stephen Colbert and Pedro Pascal last night smooching on television. Everybody gets to look at it because I had to. We'll talk about that on Sunday. That has to do, he was out promoting the new Star Wars movie. It didn't go well. No surprise. I don't want to do the Gary Chambers thing next. I think I'm gonna stick with this. Ron, you saw this one. Well, let's get into a little bit of the redistricting stuff. Before we get to Louisiana, I saw this. I kind of forgot I had this queued up. So we've got this story. This was from a couple of days ago. Notice has just been given to Democrats in the Tennessee House that all members of the Democrat caucus are being removed. Every Democrat caucus member is being removed.
Can you imagine having the
any
cojones?
committee? I love this. This is why I'm moving to Tennessee. I love Tennessee. The nuts, the big old brass nuts that it took. Every single Democrat in the Tennessee House is hereby removed from every single committee assignment that they were gifted. Like that. And this is all in response to their behavior, their collective behavior, which I would probably go so far as to say that perhaps they may just have violated a few Robert's Rules of Order, but I'm just speculating. But their behavior on the floor of the Tennessee House, and we played some of these clips last week with, like, you know, the great Justin Pearson.
The George Jefferson of the 21st century.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're going there. I mean, I saw this. I could not believe it. And of course, the screams from this were unbelievable. This, of course, this is what we're talking about. You have this guy with, why do you have a bolo necktie in Tennessee? It isn't Texas, dude. I don't understand this. Burning the Confederate flag in the lobby. You can see the state troopers. This was one of the agitators. And then you had this picture. And oh my God, have y'all seen the memes of this picture?
I hope you got some for us.
Oh God, I'm gonna see if I have some saved. The memes from this have been epic. And of course, you remember this was Justin Pearson just a few years ago. The same guy that's here, right? And it was so funny. There was a clip. Wait, I got to find this. Because when he was on the floor of the Tennessee House, he's doing the whole, and standing up, and he's doing all the old black preacher dialect and accent and this really exaggerated thing out there. And it was so, I had some of these memes saved. I don't know where they went. But let me see. I think I had, yeah, there he is. There's one.
That's not a meme. That's not a meme. That's freaking him. That's a real thing.
No, it's not even a meme. That's what I'm saying. No. It's not even a meme. It's I want to see if there was any somebody put James Brown under it. That's great. I'm trying to find. I thought I had some of these memes saved. They were so good. They might be too far back. I might not find them.
All right.
But this was it. This was it from the House. This was him screaming. This is part of the behavior that precipitated the decision of the Tennessee House, overwhelmingly led by Republicans, to just look. As an elected congressman, you have a right to serve your people. You have a right to be in the House chamber. You have no right, as an elected official, to have a committee assignment.
But he's not. But that's also the Senate committee.
Yeah.
He's not even a member of the Senate, much less a member of that committee.
Exactly. That was the question I asked. He's standing in front of the cop, and he did his posed picture, or the sergeant at arms, I should say. And look, credit to the police, credit to the sergeant at arms. And look, this is him yelling out there, move back, shouting the F-bombs at the cops as he was getting out of there. And he wasn't the only one doing it. He was, this is some of the other ones. This is the same guy. I wish I had some of these memes. It was so funny. It was him standing in front of all kind of different things. But anyway, this dude's out. He's out. So that's it. I just wanted to bring that up because I kind of forgot about that. I've got a lot of stuff saved in here for Sunday. So kind of never mind the, this. I'll pull this one up. Y'all heard Trump is redoing the reflecting pool, right?
I don't get it though. What's about?
So, because you got to use those liberal tears. It's supposed to be the
liberal tears. Oh, yeah, I'm so thick.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be the woman from the first Hillary Clinton defeat.
Right.
And Trump's just filling the reflecting pool with her liberal tears. I don't want to talk about Lane Kiffin. I don't want to talk about Animal Farm. I thought I had saved these. Maybe I just responded to them so much that I forgot to do it. But in any case, there were so many of those. But let's get to a few of these others. I want to talk about this one too. We talked about this a few months ago, which is why I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if you saw this one. So the Minnesota House Fraud Committee, which, to my understanding, Ron, Minnesota is not a terribly Republican state.
Well, it once was.
Yeah.
Even though it was the home state of Hubert Humphrey, but it was a moderate state. Mm-hmm. But then they imported a whole bunch of people from a certain country, and also the university waxed great, and there you go. No, not a Republican stronghold.
Not a Republican stronghold, especially in 2026. The only state that voted for Walter Mondale against Ronald Reagan. 49 states. The one state that did not vote for Ronald Reagan was Minnesota. So just to kind of throw it out there. Minnesota House Fraud Committee drops an 84-page final report accusing Tim Walz, the current governor, who inexplicably, Ron, decided not to seek re-election. I don't know why.
You'd think that a guy who was just a candidate for the vice presidency of the United States, like that would be a resume enhancer.
In Minnesota. I mean, there's no competition for him in that case. Remember, this was the guy that was like, this is what we were told, what a real man looks like. I mean, this is, again, if you don't remember
this, in his hunting duds.
Oh, yeah. It was the same story we got, if you don't remember, in 2000 when Al Gore was running. Remember the cover of GQ where they airbrushed a bigger dick in his pants? I don't know if y'all remember this. They actually did this. Rush Limbaugh did a whole show joking about it. It's like it was so obvious. Oh, God, it was hilarious.
I missed that.
Go look. It's probably still on Google somewhere. I think it was GQ. I'm 99% sure it was GQ. But 2000, Al Gore running against Bush for president. And there was this picture of him on GQ, and there was a very obvious, like, pretty much ridiculous bulge in his pants on the cover of the magazine in the shot. And it was just, yeah. And the whole article was about him being the real man, the big man. It's out there. So anyway, Tim Walz. And again, history repeats itself, especially with Democrats, because they rely on their voting base being stupid and having memories that last no longer than a mosquito in August in Louisiana. So they ran the same con. And they did this not just with Tim Walz. I think they did this with Tim Kaine years ago when he was running with Hillary Clinton, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, the real man. So anyway, this guy, Tim Walz, accused of enabling a culture of tolerance that let fraudsters steal Somali fraudsters, Ilhan Omar's folks. Remember, she calls Somalia her country. So it is her countrymen we were talking about. Let fraudsters steal an estimated $9 billion of Medicaid.
That's not very damning. I mean, really, all they're saying is they're not saying what we really were looking for, which is that he knew about it and he benefited from it.
Yeah.
Or at least the Democratic Party benefited from it. It's like, oh, he wasn't really very good at caring.
Yeah.
Which is not a crime. It's just grounds for not being reelected. That's pretty weak.
It is. And that's why I brought this up, because I think that, or at least I'm hoping that at some point we'll see some federal charges coming down that will push the envelope of this a little bit further. But the report says the administration, quote, ignored and consciously downplayed years of whistleblower warnings while prioritizing quote, compassion over compliance, fraud over compliance would be another way to say it, Democrats on the committee blocked a subpoena of Ilhan Omar over her alleged ties to convicted fraudsters. So, yeah. Let's get a little deeper on that. I don't expect, like I said, I think the fact that Minnesota, the House, even put that much out is impressive. But at the same time, I agree with you that there's no real teeth on it. But it is.
And plus, he's not running. He's not running for re-election, so they could be big sports.
Right.
You know, he wasn't really the right guy to handle. You know, to handle this.
Right.
What is it? Complicated stuff. Yeah.
No. I don't think he's the right guy that can handle complicated stuff like his own zipper. But then again, I could just be being an asshole about it. But yeah. At the same time, and this is what's great, I flagged this one. No child should have to sit in a classroom hungry or worried about where their next meal will come from. Excited to introduce the Universal School Meals Program Act with Bernie Sanders to feed children with free breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And snacks to students year. You know who I'm talking about when I said that, right? Yeah. Former New York mayoral candidate. The rent was too damn high, Ron. The rent was too damn high. Jimmy McMillan. I got to go back and find that rap. It's going on the show. So right after we just found out that Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz in the state of Minnesota were robbing taxpayers blind to the tune of nearly $10 billion or more dollars, allegedly, but robbing them blind for Ilhan Omar is coming up with a new fraud bill to universal school meals program at the federal level, so that way all states can have quality leering centers.
You are bad.
I'm such an asshole. But that's it. But no, seriously, isn't that what this is, Ron? This is basically like, hey, look at the shit we got away with in Minnesota. If we make a program like this, we can suddenly have all kind of daycare in schools. Hey, if we get booted out of Medicare or Medicaid fraud, then we can have school lunch fraud at least and still make money. I mean, that's what this is. This is the next attempt. And this is never going to pass, at least not in 2026. But this is the next Democrat fraud machine. This is what I see here. The next Democrat fraud machine, but at a national level.
Whatever it takes. This is for the children. This is for the children.
Exactly.
Just like leering.
Just like leering. Everybody's got a leer, and everybody. Everybody's got a leer, and everybody's got a it.
That's right.
That's eat without the A in the middle because I misspelled that too. Just to make it clear. But no, I think that this is and look, this is one of those things, Ron, would you agree that this is not going to pass and then they're going to try to use this in the midterms? Republicans want children to starve, just like Republicans want to push grandma off a cliff.
Every single time.
That was an actual commercial like 25 years ago. Yeah. I think that was during the Bush thing. And it was George Bush. It was like George Bush dragging my daddy to death behind that car in Texas all over again. Remember that one?
Yeah, when George Bush did that, that was pretty nasty.
This is what they do. This is how they operate. This is just par for the course. So be on the lookout for this later this year. All right, let's get to some of the other redistricting. Now, there was a couple of stories this week, Ron. It looked like Mississippi. Right now, there's some bizarre stuff going on in Mississippi. Like they're not going to redistrict, is what I saw today. The governor has basically canceled the special session, and I'm wondering what's going on there. I'm a little curious. But Louisiana, which this started with, even a little bit more curious. So here's the deal. And people are like, oh, great. We're going to get, it's going to be Republican +1, which is basically where we were. We're back to where we were 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And I'm from Louisiana. Let me explain this. So this congressional district, we talked about this last week, up here, that runs from the black areas around Shreveport all the way down to the predominantly black areas of Baton Rouge. And you got to realize this is like 400 miles end to end. It's clearly gerrymandered to be a black majority district, as is the district down here. Here's the new thing. This is what's proposed. So they eliminated, because remember, the Calais case, Ron, it was about this other district. This second black district is why that case got brought to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, what again?
Oh, you're asking me. I thought
I'm asking you. The Supreme Court said, what about racially gerrymandered districts?
you can't have no more. And if you have old ones, they got to go too.
Seemed pretty clear. Yet, somehow, and this session, for those of you that don't know, went into like 4:30 in the morning. Not
so what if we
Wednesday
just do
morning.
a teeny one? Teeny one.
So this was, I don't know what's going on, but the overwhelming Republican majority in the Senate, I don't think this has cleared the House yet. They may be debating it right now tonight as I speak, but I'm not sure. I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody in the last 24 hours to really kind of dig into it. But they still have this weirdo district that runs from, and so you understand, the blue area right here on this end, on the east side or the right side as you're looking on this, that runs over and then has almost this complete detachment and then has this little nub of blue up here in the upper left of the blue area. That's the predominantly black area of East Baton Rouge. So it's running from the predominantly black area of Baton Rouge all the way, basically runs down the riverbank, the Mississippi riverbank, bypasses the stronghold of Steve Scalise on the East Bank side of Jefferson Parish. The West Bank of Jefferson Parish, same parish, or county as you call it, but the West Bank of the Mississippi River is in this blue district, okay? So that it's able to snake over to connect to New Orleans. There's no way to get from New Orleans to Baton Rouge here without going through Jefferson, which again is Steve Scalise's base, okay, the majority leader in the House. And you've got Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House, who's from a district that's right next to him. So they have to carve this. This is the stupidest. This is another racially gerrymandered district. This is a district deliberately designed to connect the two majority black areas in the state, at least with a dense enough population, East Baton Rouge and New Orleans, or Orleans Parish to East Baton Rouge, or parts of Orleans and parts of East Baton Rouge, just the black parts. And I'm going to call it for what it is. This is literally just connecting the black areas of Baton Rouge to the black areas of New Orleans. That's it. I don't understand how this is going to pass muster, because this is some racially gerrymandered bullshit.
It's incomprehensible. It's incomprehensible. They just did it less.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. We got rid of the one that we went to court over. Yeah, but you got the other one that's been there for years. Now, again, we could make arguments prior to 2005, meaning before Katrina in New Orleans, where that deep blue district that was in that southeastern portion of Louisiana, majority Democrat, even though it was also probably still majority black, held water, no pun intended for Katrina, but it held water because the population of New Orleans back then was very different. It was a lot bigger. You had 500,000 plus in Orleans Parish alone. Congressional districts at that point were not much more in 2000 than 500,000 or 550, maybe 600,000 people. A congressional district that was solidly New Orleans, that was going to go Democrat no matter what you did, made sense. It was contiguous. It was fine. Since Katrina, since 2005, this district has been continuously redrawn to just satiate a racial demographic that basically was, blown to five directions of the wind. Most of them wound up in Houston. A lot of them wound up in Atlanta. Didn't go well for Houston and Atlanta, I'll say that. But this is racially gerrymandered, and it gets stupider and stupider every year. So I think the House in Louisiana is going to, at least I would hope, be far more reluctant to just let this slide through like water through a duck. This is going to get more pushback in the House, I would have to believe.
It's ridiculous. It's just, they should. Look, it's not. Is the House more conservative than the Senate in Louisiana?
I would say it's the Senate is still pretty to the right, but I think there's more squishes. I think there's more rhino in the Senate than the House. I think we're going to see more push, and there already has been some. There already are certain House members that are proposing entirely different maps. So I think there's going to be a fight, House and Senate, with this. And to that end, let me pull this up just kind of as an add-on to this to kind of give a little bit more clarity. Let me stop the screen, pull up 1 second here. All right, here we go. So what I want to show everybody is kind of the stories. This is the local stories that are out there. This is from CBS, WWL TV out of New Orleans. Senate passes new congressional map. The new U.S. House districts would still need House approval. Pardon me. Would be used for primary elections. And they're poised to be postponed from Saturday until November. So we're going back to the OG kind of time. We're getting rid of the early primaries this year for the congressional seats. Louisiana, we still have an election. We still have an election for all this other stuff. It's just not Congress, which includes getting rid of Bill Cassidy. And I do mean getting rid of Bill Cassidy from the U.S. Senate. 2 weeks after the Supreme Court struck down congressional maps, state senators passed a plan on Thursday that would eliminate a majority black district while giving Republicans a chance to win an additional seat in the midterms. Remember, this was a seat that was Republican 4 years ago. This new seat didn't exist. We're basically just going back to where we were 2 to 4 years ago. But we're not addressing the issue of the gerrymandered district that's been sitting there for the last 20 years. The one out of New Orleans. So it has just passed the Senate. The new plan keeps a New Orleans-based... Now look, this is the news media saying this. The new plan keeps a New Orleans base that also includes deep black areas of Baton Rouge. And I'm talking from a political perspective here. The new plan keeps New Orleans Place majority black district represented by Democratic Representative Troy Carter, while also adding a portion of Baton Rouge to it. So this is like, all right, Troy, we're going to let you keep your seat. I don't know why. Again, I want to remind everybody that Orleans Parish, which is the same geographic thing as the city of New Orleans, has a population of roughly 350,000 people. It's less than half of what you need to constitute a congressional district in 2026. Congressional districts are about 760,000 people. Less than half is Orleans Parish. So they, instead of trying to put it into a bucket with its immediate southeast surrounding area, they deliberately carved its way up the river, skipping around the power base of Steve Scalise's district and up to just specifically the black areas of Baton Rouge. I don't know how this isn't racially gerrymandered, and even the news media
No, there's no way. No way you can say
admitting
that.
this. Is admitting this. Okay? I don't think that either Jeff Landry or our Attorney General Liz Morrell has come out and said anything yet, nor would I expect them to until something gets past the House. There's nothing on the governor's desk yet. You know, so people are like, where's Jeff Landry on this? I'm like, well, he's probably just chilling out. Wait until, so, I mean, I'm sure he's working backstage, but I don't think he's going to come out and make any public one way or the other yet. I don't know. But, here's the other part of this. This has now been moved. This is going to be the next, hellscape shoot a drop. The House primaries have now been, as of today, officially moved to November 3rd. That's like a week. That's like a week before the general election.
How do you get the ballots printed in a week?
I don't think they will. That's my point. Is that, well, wait, is November 3rd, is that, I think that's actually, no, that's got to be election day. Is November 3rd election day this year? I think that's what it is. And then they're just going to have a runoff after that. I'm pretty sure that is.
That's
Election,
ridiculous.
I'm thinking election day 2026. Let's see. I bet it is November 3rd. Yeah, it is November 3rd. So our primaries will be on general election day for the midterms around the country. Which, look, some other states have done. I've seen that before. We're not the only ones to have done it. I'm guessing they've... look, part of me understands this because I don't believe there is any other statewide election already scheduled between now and then. And like it or not, if you have to schedule... I mean, we have special elections in certain parishes. You have some kind of millage on the ballot or something and blah, 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 whatever. When you do a statewide election, there are, like it or not, there's a lot of additional costs that have to be considered to do that. And it's very expensive. And I'm sure that's part of the consideration here. Not to mention the fact that everybody that was running in almost, every congressional seat basically is going to be changed. Not every one of them is going to be changed radically, and I'm talking about borders.
But there's going to be adjustments, yeah.
There's going to be adjustments, and now that means entirely new voting lists by district have to be done. There's a whole set of new research that every candidate will have to do based on changes to their district. Not to mention all the advertising and everything else that has to shift with the wind. There's a lot that goes into it. So November 3rd is when this is moving to. And I'm sure there will be lots of screams and everything else going forward. So, any case, we'll see what happens. But we don't know yet. I'm hoping that by this time next week, we'll have a definitive answer. The House will have passed. I have a feeling, Ron, that the Louisiana House is going to pass something that is not going to jive with the Senate version of the map. Something tells me that.
It is kind of crazy.
It is. So, all right, we got a few super chats here. We're gonna wind her down here. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. Two Penny Puppet says, oh wait, that's the one we got before. Marcus Quintus says for $2, get out of Central TC Metro, Minnesota is conservative. When you get out of the Twin Cities. I got you. When you get out of the Twins. And Marcus, for those of y'all who don't know, Marcus is from Minnesota. He's a retired police officer from Minnesota. Marcus, once you get out of the Twin Cities, Minnesota's... That doesn't surprise me. That's like most other states. Once you get out of the metropolitan areas and the urban areas, it changes a lot. The politics change dramatically. Thank you very much, Marcus. And one more here from Marcus for $2. Can we get Mark Mitchell back on soon? I'm all for it. Mark he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. And he's been a busy bee the last few months. He's got a lot of changes, professionally, and I think some other things going on. So I need to reach out. I haven't talked to Mark in a while, but yeah, be happy to get him back on for a spell here to share some thoughts. It's been a while since I talked to him. I'm glad you reminded me of that, actually, Marcus. I hadn't wanted to bother him in a few months because the man's been busy. Trust me. Any case, Ron Coleman, appreciate you hanging out tonight. The last thing that I was going to bring up, because I know everybody's looking at the title, and this is kind of one of those, let's go for a little bit more lighthearted stuff. One of these things, I didn't know if you wanted to comment on this, actually, because I saw Harmeet Dillon's name attached to this. I don't know if you saw this one or if I sent this to you earlier. The Justice Department Okay, I did send you this one. Justice Department determines Yale Medical School discriminated based on race and admissions. Yale has continued its race-based admissions program despite the Supreme Court and the public's clear mandate for reform, said Harmeet Dillon. This department will continue to shed light on these illegal practices and demand that institutions of higher education comply with federal law. Ron, what got some thoughts? What's going on here?
My wife wrote about this a while ago on legal insurrection. They haven't fired any DEI employees, and they haven't removed any DEI functions or departments. They've just renamed them.
Yes.
And they seem to think that no one's going to notice.
Right. The departments, the admissions, everything. And we've talked about this on the main channel where we cover, the entertainment and the Hollywood side of things. We've seen this with a lot of Hollywood, where especially places like the Walt Disney Company, where DEI is still there. They're just hiding it better now. They're changing the names of things, but they're still doing the things.
Absolutely.
Now, again, the Supreme Court case here was one, if I'm not mistaken, Ron, that was specifically addressing an issue with higher education or academic admissions, right?
The Harvard case, yeah.
The Harvard case, yes. Yes, the Harvard case.
But in general, just between the Harvard case and the what was it? The other. Just basically, the Supreme Court has made it clear that you are not. It is not legal to discriminate by race or otherwise in any of your activities, whether it's giving out scholarships, giving out, accepting people into your school. Everything is out the window, and they're not pretending that the law isn't what it is. They're just pretending that they're not doing what they're doing.
Right, and that's just it. And even after the Supreme Court ruled on this, to Harvard, which is directly adjacent to Yale, in the Ivy League here, doing the same thing. So it's not just, hey, this isn't a ruling that's just about Harvard. It's about all y'all, as we say down here in the South. It's all y'all. Can't do this. All y'all. And Yale's documents show that its leadership intentionally selected applicants based on their race. This is from, by the way, this is from the Justice Department. continue to show that they used racial proxies to circumvent the Supreme Court's prohibition on using race. Yale's admissions data demonstrates that black and Hispanic students have a much higher chance of admission to Yale than white or Asian students with the same test scores. But wait, there's more. Yale has continued its race-based admissions programs despite the Supreme Court and the public's clear mandate, says Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. The investigation showed that, in general, black and Hispanic applicants were admitted with consistently lower academic qualifications than their white and Asian counterparts. These facts support the department's finding that Yale has continuously, I will add, violated the law by intentionally discriminating based on race. Medical schools, they specifically cite at Yale, and of course this goes for all y'all, medical schools use substantial federal financial assistance to train the next generation of doctors. And the department is continuing its focus on eradicating illegal race politics from admissions at medical schools where quality and excellence are vitally important to public safety. Think about how much it costs to go to medical school. We're talking at a place like Yale, it's got to be $500,000 plus. $500,000 plus to go to medical school. And they're getting federal funding to do this. And they're making selections of students based on melanin content as opposed to purely academic merit, which is a no.
Well, you know what they've done in a lot of these schools is they're taking the position that we no longer look at scores or grades. We have a holistic application process. Holistic.
Right.
Like it's like that old John Belushi parody of George Wallace. I don't judge a man by the color of his skin. I judge him by the thickness of his lips, the width of his nose, and how curly his hair is.
God, I don't remember that one. I gotta go look that one up.
That's pre-Saturday Night Live. That's the National Lampoon.
That's OG National Lampoon. Then my
yeah,
goodness.
very OG.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like I need to
try harder not to suck.
That's I meant to play this one.
I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck.
That's the one I wanted.
Let me start out by saying this. If I offend anybody today, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we need more of that. Okay, there we have it. And the last one, because everybody's asking, what did I mean in the title when I said Dutch oven? Because everybody's like,
yeah, I'm kind of wondering too.
Are we going to have fart jokes on the show? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing fart jokes. What we are doing is I saw a story so fascinating. And again, this is the kind of story I need to get. I've got to get a hold. Matthew Marsden and I, we've been trying to get a time forever for months. I got to call my buddy Matthew back. We got to get him on the show. Because the European situation...
He's kind of. Let me tell you, Matthew is slippery.
Yeah,
I stopped chasing him.
Well, he's got so many. When you got 9 kids, you know, and he's.
Okay, I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Okay, so here's the thing. This is why I love Matthew talking about this kind of stuff because he follows it. Critical Drinker follows it for obvious reasons. He's still in the UK. A lot of our British and European friends out there follow this. So this was a story that was fascinating to me. So bottom line is, and I don't think, well, actually we have subtitles. I don't know if this was subtitled earlier. So let me pull this up. This is basically a story of there was a new refugee facility that was brought online in the Netherlands. And it was going to be filled up in the last few days with asylum seekers. And you can imagine where these folks were from. Same place that a lot of asylum seekers have showed up in the rest of Western Europe. We're talking about sub-Saharan, Middle Eastern, people whose cultures where they come from generally do not comport well with Western European culture. And we've seen a lot of horror stories that have come out from Europe, especially in the UK and France, and all the massive problems they're having there. Problems so great, as a matter of fact, that, Keir Starmer is just throwing people in jail, British people in jail, for saying that this is not a good idea, for making, tweets that they didn't like. The people in the Netherlands were having none of it. They said, oh, y'all go put people in here after we said no? They burned the fucking building down. The people showed up. The Dutch burned it down. They were throwing flares. We will keep going until this is over. This is I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm going to sound like an idiot. But these are the Dutch people on the street. They are blockading the fire department from being able to get to the building after they lit it on fire.
Well, you see, I've been telling you about these white people for a long time.
They're crazy.
They're crazy. They're violent. Look at them. Just animals.
We don't want the asylum seekers here because we know what this is going to mean eventually. We're all going to be, and people talk about certain areas in Europe. They talk about Denmark, Switzerland, the Netherlands is another example. Well, my God, they have high taxes there. They have quote unquote socialism and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, kind of, sort of. They have high taxes. They have a lot of public programs out there for retirement and all this kind of stuff. The thing is, in societies like that, in Denmark, little. Netherlands, pretty little. Switzerland, kind of little. They have also traditionally have very homologous societies. Everybody goes to work. Everybody's kind of the same. Everybody's same culture, same this, same. There's arguments to be made. But when you introduce a foreign culture, whether it be white, black, brown, Asian, whatever, don't matter. When you introduce a foreign culture that does not fit with your culture that you've had for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and then all of a sudden they show up and they're not working to better your society, they've showed up to basically suck off the tit of your society and then bring their own culture in. I don't think any of these refugees and asylum seekers out there are coming to Britain, to France, or to the Netherlands to become European. We've seen no evidence of that anywhere. And if anybody wants to show me any evidence of any of these asylum seekers or refugees doing this, I'll be more than happy to look. And I'd probably tell you that it does not represent 95% of them. But here we go.
Wild. I didn't know they had it in them. I got to tell you.
They blocked it off. Fire department, you're not coming down the street. The cops apparently can't stop them. And that's them throwing the pops are the flares and the fireworks. They're just throwing it over the fence. They're not busting down the fence. They're just standing on the street, lobbing flares and fireworks at it. Lit it up.
Wild.
Yeah.
You see, this couldn't happen in the UK though. The UK would they'd arrest all the protesters in a second.
Yep. But this is what's happening is because, and I'm not selling, and I want to make it clear, we're not advocating, hey, everybody run out and start lighting buildings on fire. No. What you got to understand is what's going on here, especially in these European countries. And of course, the Netherlands is still part of the EU, the European Union. And the EU is the one that is largely responsible for starting this whole, population replacement theory and all this kind of crap. And basically all population replacement theory is how do Marxists and socialists and communists acquire power quickly? And that is to, well, we need to bring in foreigners that we can put on welfare, make them dependent on government, and have a fast track to instituting far leftist, socialist, Marxist policies. This is how you wind up with the Keir Starmers and all this kind of stuff. By the way, has Ron, do you know, is he going to resign or not? Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it.
He had like 100 members of his own party calling for him too, but he doesn't want to go anywhere.
Well, but it's, they're calling for it, but he knows and they know that if he resigns, they will not win the majority. They will lose. In other words, he's saying, I'm not really insightful into UK politics, but this isn't about him. I mean, I suppose what the Labour members of Parliament are saying are, let someone else lead the party and become prime minister, rather than have you lead us into a national electoral defeat.
Right,
and that's what they can do there. Right.
That's just it. And Starmer's being that stubborn, and he wants to stay on. If I'm on the other side, I'm like, oh hell yes. It's like Joe Biden hanging around, or like nominating Kamala Harris as your Democrat Party candidate. It was like, yeah, baby, yes, do that. Look, let Keir Starmer stick around, because that's going to get. Now the problem is that. Have they imported so many right now where it doesn't matter? That's the scary thought. And that's where Britain is kind of on the edge. Is that you could have you could have all the true patriots of Britain vote one way, but there's when you've got the Muslim call to prayer or whatever blasting over Birmingham and 20 other British cities at this point every morning, there's a reason they're there. They're not there to be British. Just like the asylum seekers are not here to be Dutch, I promise you.
That's right.
They're not there to be French in France. They're there to bring the Middle East and Africa with them into these European countries. Just like we've had the same issue here in America. I don't have a problem with immigration if it's done legally and properly, but I got a problem with people showing up and not assimilating and wanting to bring their own cultures in and replace the one that's there. That's what I have. And this is what's going on in Europe. And the people in the Netherlands, the Dutch, have finally, this is the first country, and I hope it crosses, because the government isn't listening to them. That's the problem. The government is selling them out.
No, absolutely.
Not listening to them.
They are there to do what they think is, you could say one or two possibilities, what they think is right and moral and just, or what will keep them in power.
But
certainly not what the people want.
Not what the people want. And again, the reality is that this is going to spread elsewhere. And honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen it in Britain first, but it's like you said, it's because the government has been arresting its own patriots and putting them in prison for simply tweeting, literally just tweeting or making a Facebook post.
That's right.
Because it might have offended somebody. The UK, pardon my French, Britain is fucked right now. It is fucked. And unfortunately, this is how revolutions start. This is how people, I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of people in Britain right now watching what's going on in the Netherlands and going, about fucking time. I promise you. And if Keir Starmer wants to hang around and doubles down on it, he is going to accelerate the timeline of this happening all over Britain.
That's the irony, right? It is really kind of a political death spiral kind of situation. He's not saving anything, because he's not. It's not as if he's saying, I want to stay and I want to learn from what the feedback. It's, I want to stay and I'm going to show you who's fucking in charge here. I'm going to show you what's right and what's wrong, and I'm the guy. I got the bag, and you don't.
Right. It's really the sign of a dictator in that case. It really is. And when you've got that many members of your own party, and especially all of his actions over the years, And this is a guy on the left. So he's got the support of the BBC, all the media over there in the UK and everybody. They're all Labour. They're all hard left wing. He's got the support of everybody out there, and even the left. This would be like this is the same thing as half the members of Congress, Democrat members of Congress, and all of media, CNN and MSNBC, turning on Joe Biden or turning on Kamala Harris. You know, it's like, it's that. They're going to turn on Trump anyway. But it'd be if they went against their own, if they started eating their own like this. Snarky, thanks for the 25 years ago, we lost an icon of sport. No, wait, what was that in reference to? Oh, wait, is it because? Oh, is it Jeff you got there in the avatar? I guess so. That's probably what we're talking about. I didn't realize it was. God, has it been 25 years since he died?
Who's that?
Is it? No, not. I'm thinking Jeff Gordon, not Jeff Gordon. Dale Earnhardt, right?
Really?
Yeah,
that was
Dale
25 years ago. Wow.
Sorry, Jeff Gordon. Dale Earnhardt. I'm looking at him like, that's Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, I can't believe it's been 25 years. God. That's crazy. Marcus says for $2, what about the CIA raiding Tulsi's office? I hadn't heard that one. I don't know.
I don't know. CIA can't raid things. It's not law enforcement. They don't have. Get back to us on this, Marcus. Okay. Unless he means there was there an allegation that the CIA. I don't know. I mean, raiding doesn't sound like the right word. Whatever it is that you're talking about.
Well, let me. I don't. We're not gonna have time to get into this, but I'll pull this up real quick just to because I hadn't seen this one. CIA. This is the New York Post, by the way. Accused of snatching JFK, MK Ultra, and files. Tulsi Gabbard's team was reviewing.
Well, you realize what this is about. No matter how, this is the thing about conspiracies: you can never disprove them. So every time an agency or the government says, "All right, fine, we're opening up all the files," you can always say, "No, certain files were hidden.
Yeah,
you didn't give us all the files." Therefore, it's impossible to ever disprove a conspiracy.
Yeah, it just says whistleblower publicly accused the agency, the CIA, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whistleblower of swiping critical files on Kennedy's assassination and the notorious mind control experiment MK Ultra that were being reviewed by Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know. It's like Ron said. It's you know, he'd probably do a whole show about it and not be able to answer the question. I'm not sure, but thanks for letting me know about that because I hadn't seen that one. Ron, thanks for hanging out tonight. Chat, thanks for hanging out tonight. Some final thoughts here before we sign off.
Keep pushing, guys. We're making progress. We're turning the Queen Mary around, and it's all about you. People have to do it. You have to show up. Hit it, you know, even if it's just hitting it in the comments and on social media. That's not for nothing. That's is how democracy and representative Republican constitutionalism operate in 2026.
That's right. My final thoughts is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is still
Trash?
That's it. I'm done. We're out. See you.